Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So Charles Barkley, he commented on the LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith situation, this whole beef. He called out LeBron and Stephen A. Smith. So he feels like Stephen A. Smith made a weak move by, constantly talking about the situation, going on numerous podcasts, talking about the situation, saying he would have swung on LeBron if LeBron put hands on him. He also said LeBron James is a bully, which he is. LeBron always wants to control the narrative. That's what LeBron does. LeBron wants to control the narrative in most situations. The fact he stepped to Stephen A. Smith, that was a weak move to me. You could have talked to the man after the game. You could have had Rich Paul reached out to him. And Stephen A. Smith, he's not the only one who's been talking about Bronny. You have other people, sports media personnel, who's been talking about Bronny. So he's not the only one who's been talking about Bronny and the situation, like Callan Cowherd. He spoke about Bronny viciously, and he's a big LeBron supporter. He's an avid fan of LeBron, and he spoke about Bronny, went in on Bronny. LeBron didn't attack him, but he chose to press Stephen A. Smith. The man is just doing his job. But I would agree with Charles Barkley that Stephen A. Smith, instead of him doing all this world tour, going on numerous podcasts talking about the situation, he should have addressed the issue one time, go on his podcast, his YouTube channel, address the issue, cover everything, whatever you want to get off your chest, whatever you want to talk about, and just leave it alone. That's it. That's the approach he should have taken in the first place. Just put it all out there. Say what you got to say, get it all off your chest, and let it be, instead of the constant back and forth. So that's the approach he should have taken. But Charles Barkley disagreed with Stephen A. and LeBron. He called them both out and said Stephen A. Smith made a weak move, and LeBron is a bully, which we all know he is. If he could control the narrative, that's what he's going to do. And right now, the LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith beef is the biggest talking point in basketball. Everybody's talking about it. If you are involved in sports media, you have some kind of voice, you are talking about it. Everybody's talking about the situation. This is the hot topic right now. And for good reasons, So Charles Barkley, he appeared on the Dan Patrick Show, and this is what he had to say. They both had an awful week. LeBron, he's too big to be that type of bully. To bully Stephen A. Smith and to bully Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst is a sweet person. Man, he's just trying to do his thing. And I've always liked LeBron, but him being a bully, it turned me off. Because remember, LeBron James also slammed Brian Windhorst. Said he's weird. Called the man weird. Said, they're not friends. So he denounced their friendship. And everybody who's been covering the sports and LeBron and paying attention, at one point, they had a relationship at one point. So for LeBron to try to denounce this guy and saying, what is he talking about? He's weird. That is very disrespectful, but this is LeBron in a nutshell. And you know the reason why, more than likely. It's because Brian Windhorst said a few things about Bronny, and LeBron is unhappy with that. So now he's trying to shit on the guy. Typical LeBron fashion. Charles Barkley continued, Stephen A. Smith, the way he reacted was so lame and weak. Stephen A. is a good dude, man. LeBron, I blame him for starting the bullying. Going on Pat's show, just bullying people. Because LeBron, he's a control freak. He knows everything he's doing. Like I said, LeBron James is someone who's very cerebral in everything he does. He premeditates stuff, he plans ahead. So nothing is done randomly unless he's online making some dumb tweet, or he's in his feelings. But normally, everything is calculated, as Charles Barkley said. It's all calculated, planned, scripted. Like him going up to Stephen A. Smith, pressing him on live national TV. That was calculated. That was scripted. That's LeBron saying, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And yes, he is a bully. That's a fact. What did Brian Windhorst do to you? What did Wendy do to you? Beyond always supporting you, talking highly of you, the man have always supported LeBron. So I don't understand why LeBron felt the need to attack Wendy. Like, why? Charles Barkley continued. He knew when he walked up to Stephen A. what he was doing, but the way Stephen A. reacted, going on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, talking tough, come on, man. You're better than that. You're better than that. So Charles Barkley, he feels like Stephen A. Smith, he made the situation worse by reacting the way he did. He felt like Stephen A. should have just said what he had to say, get it off his chest, and move on. And I do agree. Instead of all the back and forth, there's no point. This is wasted energy. Go on your podcast talking about Stephen A. Smith, that is. Say what's on your chest, however long you need to address the situation, get it all out, and move on. That's it. You don't need to be going back and forth. If he had did this, I would have punched him and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no point, man. There's no point. Charles Barkley also said he was stunned by Stephen A. Smith incorrectly claiming that LeBron James never attended Kobe Bryant's funeral. Stephen A. Smith recently apologized for making those comments. And this is exactly what I'm saying. When you continuously go back and forth, eventually you will say some regretful things. You are going to say some things that you really shouldn't have said. And in LeBron's case, LeBron, the man, went on Pat McAfee and went off on everybody. Nobody was safe. Stephen A. Smith, Brian Windhorst, anyone in sports media, he was just firing shots at everybody. The man said, you know what, I'm going to let it all out. This is LeBron, always trying to control a narrative because of his position, the power he has, feeling like, I could just bully everybody, And like I said again, Stephen A. Smith is not the only one who voiced his opinion on Bronny. Colin Cowherd, he said a lot about Bronny. Even though he's a big supporter of LeBron, he said a few vicious, vile things about Bronny. Even though he's not lying, the fact of the matter is he did speak on Bronny. And LeBron didn't attack him. I wonder why. LeBron did not attack him. You notice he only goes after the brother man. But as far as him saying Stephen A. Smith is attacking his family or tried to attack his family, he could have said the same about Colin Cowherd and anyone else who called out Bronny or spoke about Bronny, but he chose Stephen A. Smith because it's bigger than just Bronny. Because he has a personal issue with Stephen A. Smith. And Bronny's just the excuse he needed to do what he had to do. But I do agree with Charles Barkley, man. The whole situation is a drag on, Stephen A. Smith, I don't have an issue with him saying what he said, at least on his podcast. Address the situation, that's that. But I don't feel like, you need to go to all these different shows to talk about the same situation. Just address it on your podcast and move on. An hour-long segment talking about the situation, your issues with LeBron, etc., and lay it to rest. But as always, I holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. Holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.